WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Mississippi's auditor is ordering an area water district board to pay over $500,000. The investigation first began over a year ago when a resident raised concerns about where the money he was spending on taxes was going. Well, Auditor Shad White says the board can pay themselves up to $12.50 per meeting. Well, this investigation showed the board members were paying themselves $600 per meeting. The amount each person has pocketed ranges from $11,000 to more than $100,000. Board members now have 30 days to act on the demands to pay the money back before the case is turned over to the Attorney General's office.
For odd, obscure boards like this, their routine audits are not going to be good at catching some things like this. The main way we catch folks who have stolen money or who have misspent money is through whistleblowers. People who see something that doesn't quite make sense, or they see a colleague who seems to be living at a lifestyle above what they should be. They come and they report it to us, or they report it to their supervisor, and their supervisor reports it to us, and then we start an investigation.
The Water District was created to improve water and drainage issues in Lee, Union, Pontotoc, and Prentiss counties. It's the only such board in the state of Mississippi. The wife of a missing Monroe County man is in jail tonight on a $150,000 bond, facing a murder charge. Ellen Hubner turned herself in this morning. Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says enough evidence has been collected by his department to charge her. Our Jory Talley has been following this story. She joins us now in the studio with the very latest on it. Jory.
Hubner's husband, Stephen, was reported missing last week by his co-workers. A body was found in the backyard of a home on Buck Road that belongs to the couple. The coroner is waiting on autopsy results, but the sheriff believes he already knows who the victim is.
45-year-old Ellen Hubner is being charged with murder. The charge comes after a body was discovered on Friday outside of this home she shared with her missing husband, Stephen Hubner. Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell believes the body is the missing husband, but Coroner Alan Gurley is waiting on the official results from an autopsy before confirming an identity.
We do have statements from friends of hers that she told that she did do this violent act.
Cantrell says those statements, plus other things, helped them develop the case.
Through her friends and different people is the way that we kindly piece this together. And it's just been a lot of people, a lot of good investigation has went on, and as quick as this has happened to put this case together.
This case has gone from missing person to murder in just under a week.
Investigators from the Columbus Air Force Base contacted us. And like late Tuesday, we went out and actually did just a walk through the house just to see if we could find Mr. Hubner. And of course, Ms. Hubner was there. And of course, she didn't really know anything.
Cantrell says investigators went back out to the couple's home on Wednesday.
There's a canal section behind the house. We even got the Monroe County Search and Rescue team that does a great job, by the way, a great job. Brought some divers in, and we checked that whole canal down there, but we didn't find anything.
Suspicion is one thing the sheriff says they did find while they were at the home. Cantrell says the wife was at the house both days investigators were out there searching for her missing husband. However, when they returned Friday, she was nowhere to be found until Monday morning when she turned herself into the sheriff's department.
She did some things that were out of the ordinary that we noticed, and made some statements that were kind of out of the ordinary, and we kind of followed up on some things, and by being persistent, this is the reason that this came to where it is today.
Cantrell says he's not sure if there will be any more arrests made at this time. Hubner's bond was set this afternoon.
Sheriff Cantrell says negotiation played a big role in Hubner surrendering. Mississippi Bureau of Investigation agents and the Sheriff's Department carried out those talks. Once investigators were able to get in contact with her, the goal was to maintain that contact. Law enforcement say the goal is to try to convince suspects on the run to not prolong the situation. Investigators are hoping to gather more answers when they question Hubner.
It can be challenging, you know, to convince that person to go ahead and turn themselves in, you know, because they're scared, I guess, and not sure what's going to happen at that point.
Again, the incident remains under investigation.
Well, most safes are safe, but two thieves took one in Surges. Early Sunday morning, the men broke into the Be Quick store, that is. The burglars went for the safe, which had cash inside, and then left the store. They were wearing gloves and masks. Altamaha County deputies believe the suspects were about 5'9" or 5'11". If you have any information, call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers.
Longtime Choctaw County Sheriff Cloyd Alford is not running for re-election. In a list of candidates released today by the Choctaw County Circuit Clerk's office, Alford's name was not listed. 3 candidates are vying to be the county's top cop, including former Sheriff Doug McCann. He'll face Brandon Busby in the Democratic primary. The winner will face Kevin Cannell in the general election. Time to turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. He joins us with a first look at our forecast.
Cloudy and cold out there, Joey. Right now we got temperatures in the lower 30s, wind chills in the 20s. Look at Memphis, a little bit of sun, only 20s, but a wind chill of 19 here as we get into early March. There's some moisture to our south. That's going to stay to our south, and these clouds will gradually thin as we go throughout the course of the evening. Temperatures will cool down too. We're looking at lows down to around 20 degrees, give or take. Wind chills tomorrow morning. Look at that, into the teens in many spots. Now tomorrow, yes, we are going to see some sunshine, still a chilly day. 40s. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Well, most people go to sandbars along the Tenn-Tom waterway during the summer. Now high floodwaters have brought the sandbar to the river.
Yeah, right now river traffic is shut down in the area because 2 areas were created by the flooding rains. WCBI's Stephanie Poole joins us live in the studio with more.
It's unusual not to see barges traveling down the waterway. The rare sight is also costing businesses money. However, a plan is in the works to open up the river.
Over 6 days, the Tennessee-Tombigbee waterway has been closed. Water went over the lock and dam walls, leaving a sandbar behind. Operations manager Justin Murphy says it could be a while before you see barges going down river again.
Around Aberdeen, we have a significant shoaling area up there, a sandbar that makes it impassable to barge traffic.
It could take several weeks before a dredge channel is opened.
It brought in a lot of sediment. It affected some of the recreation areas by depositing sediment on them, and it also stopped barge traffic in this area around Columbus for about a week. But we also have significant shoaling on the north end of the project here, and it's stopped barge traffic completely up there.
Businesses along the waterway are losing money every day the locks are shut.
The towing companies are affected, the shippers are affected, the local businesses in this area are affected because they can't get their shipments.
Grain and rocks move down the Tenn-Tom, but the businesses that sell them sit and wait. Logistics Services Incorporated port manager Eddie Rushing says preparing sales for springtime is something he'll be observing closely since the closing of the waterway.
We have rock that comes in, limestone that comes in from up north. Fixing to be springtime and a busy time for rock coming in for us to sell, and our tonnages are definitely going to be hurt because of it. The 6 days that we lost from not being able to operate, you know, that's about 10 barges that we didn't get to load or unload in that period. So yes, we are definitely affected by the revenue side of it as well.
An emergency dredge channel is in the works, but it could take about 6 weeks to complete.
Tenn-Tom Waterway Development Authority held a conference call today with businesses about the plans to fix the sandbars.
All right, Stephanie, thanks so much for that update. Meanwhile, emergency management officials give an update on damage assessments in Columbus following the tornado. During a meeting this morning, EMA reported $17 million in damage has been done to public property. $6.5 million of that money was in damage in the Columbus School District. There was damage at Hunt, Stokes Beard, Union, and on the Sale campus. School Superintendent Dr. Cherie Labatt says 60 students in the district are displaced because of the tornado. The Columbus Police Department, meanwhile, will have 20 state troopers assisting in patrols as cleanup and assessments continue.
Area community colleges are relieving some students of a physical and financial burden.
Find out how they're turning the page on a new degree program when we come back. Welcome back. A community college in our area is helping students combat the increasing costs for textbooks.
Allie Martin has more from Northeast Mississippi Community College and something called the Z Degree Plan.
When Stacia Massey walks to class, she doesn't need a backpack or a stack of bulky textbooks. The NEMCC General Studies student has everything she needs on her iPad.
It is less stressful to keep up with books because you have to buy a backpack to keep them all in. But just having an iPad is just like having your phone.
NEMCC is the first college in the state to offer a degree program that doesn't require any textbooks. It's called the Zero Textbook Cost Degree, or Z Degree, and is offered to students pursuing an Associate of Arts in General Studies. Classes in the Z Degree use library databases and faculty-developed content instead of traditional textbooks purchased at the bookstore.
Our faculty, together with the guidance of Apple, created an open educational resource, which is called an OER. And this basically is where each division created their own textbook. And once they created their own textbook, they were then able to put it digitally on the iPad.
This compiles all the student will need into one location, and when they have it in that one location from day one, they are able to access it and submit work and hopefully be more successful because we don't have to wait. There is no lag time when they come to school at Northeast.
Eliminating the need for textbooks is not only more convenient, it can also save students thousands of dollars.
It would be huge if your parents didn't have the responsibility, or having to help you through college. If you could save, a couple thousand just on textbooks alone, it would be huge.
Currently, 59% of textbooks have been replaced with OER materials for NEMCC students. The goal is to eventually make that 100%, meaning textbooks will be a thing of the past. In Boonville, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
I've been combing through some of the damage surveys from yesterday's tornado outbreak, and in Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida, it looks like there's been at least 10 confirmed tornadoes, and those numbers could go up a little bit as they continue surveying damage. That was yesterday. Your chilly 7-day forecast is next. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Lots of clouds out there today. You can see a little sliver of daylight. Now, later this week, Sunday, I guess that's next week, we'll push the sunset back an hour. But right now, we're looking at some dark conditions beginning to develop. But look at this. I was out at Vardaman Elementary School today, and look at all these great kids. We had a fantastic time talking about weather instruments, tornadoes, and high and low pressure, clouds, and all that good stuff. Thank you ever so much for having me out there in Vardaman. A lot of wet weather out there over the last couple of weeks, but today it was actually a dry trip out to Calhoun County. Chilly for the next 2 days, so winter holds on, drying out a bit here, and that's great news. Even though it's chilly, at least we are drying out. More storms possible by the weekend. Now, speaking of the weekend and this time change, Saturday night, Sunday morning, we go back to daylight time, and that means we will be adjusting our sunrise and sunset, so we will gain an extra hour during the evening. We just lose an hour of sleep. That's the trade-off here this time of year. That is this upcoming Saturday night. The wind chill right now in the 20s and teens, actual air temperature 20s and 30s. We are springing into spring, but temperatures are actually regressing a little bit back into winter-like patterns. The actual air temperature back into the teens across the northern plains, 6 in Minneapolis. Look at all the snowpack, though, from the Rockies well across the northern tier of the United States. Pretty impressive for early March. Now, we're watching a little disturbance zip to our south right now. The clouds are beginning to thin out here, so it's going to be a chilly night. Lows down to around 20. It looks like the wind chills 20s and teens later on. And for your Tuesday, a lot of sunshine here. That will boost our highs back into the 40s. We stayed in the 30s today. Should be warmer tomorrow, but keep in mind the average right now is about 64, 65 degrees. So about 20 degrees colder or more for our day tomorrow. So that's the way it's looking for our Tuesday. Still chilly tomorrow night and Wednesday. Wednesday night still into the 20s, below 32 degrees. We're back to 58 on Thursday, 60s with some showers possible on Friday. Saturday, we may see some stronger storms of the region as we warm back up to around 70. Don't forget about the time change early next week. And there you go. 60s return by Sunday and Monday. Sports is next.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Tournament season is here for women's basketball. The SEC tournament beginning this week. 14 teams hoping to add to their resume. All teams looking to knock off South Carolina's 4-year title streak in the conference tournament. Ole Miss kicks off the SEC tournament Wednesday. The Rebels taking on Florida at 10 a.m. Central Time. Ole Miss defeated Florida in the regular season 76-66. The winner of that one advances to face 5-seed Missouri. As for Mississippi State, we'll have to wait until Friday to see the regular season champions. Earning a double bye as the 1 seed, the Bulldogs will face the winner of LSU and Tennessee. The high school basketball Final Four beginning in Jackson. Teams looking to punch their ticket to a state championship game. We'll start off with 1A girls. The two-time defending 1A state champ Pine Grove taking on Leake County. Early on in the first quarter, Lauren Elliott drive to the basket off the glass for 2. Lady Panthers leading early, and then later in the first, Bella Jumper skip pass to Taylor Fletcher. Drives baseline, gets one to roll for 2. Pine Grove up 8-1 to start the ball game. And in the second quarter, Fletcher finds Jumper for the jumper in the short corner. Nothing but nylon. Lady Panthers up by 8. Then before halftime, Lauren Elliott, strong drive to the hoop, takes the contact, little bit of English for the N1 bucket. Pine Grove goes on to control the second half. They get the W 42-35, advancing to the title game. So who will the Lady Panthers face? Hamilton taking on Simmons in the 1A semifinal. First quarter, Jalea Gaddison coast to coast with the Euro smooth finger roll finish. Puts Simmons up 8-2. Hamilton will respond though. Deidre Keaton swings to Icy Cockrum to Tyra Werner in the corner. Drains the triple. Lady Lions clawing their way back, and in the second quarter, Cockrum finds Amaya Werner. Just throw it up there. She'll catch it. Gets the 2. So now Hamilton makes it a 1-possession ball game. Later in the second, Lady Lions down here, but Alexia Ware to Tori Harrison gets the triple to go. It'd be a 5-point game in the fourth, but Simmons pulls it out late. Lady Lions fall 43-33 to Simmons. On the men's side, 2 area teams facing off in a highly anticipated matchup. West Lowndes taking on Okolona. First quarter, Panthers start strong. To Kylan Malone to Jalen Brewer. Takes the contact, finishes with the and 1. Panthers up 4. Second quarter, Brewer again behind the back. Absolutely filthy young man for the finish. Panthers still leading, but we interrupt your programming for the Jacoria Stanfield show. The man would go on an absolute burner, go on a 7-0 run by himself. He'd score 30 points in this ball game, and the defending champions in 1A are back in the state championship. Okolona defeats West Lowndes 65-55. Who Okolona will meet up with? Well, it'll be between Potts Camp and East Marion for a title appearance. Devin Daniels on the outlet. Caleb Rawls with the 2-hand jam. East Marion's got a tough squad. He goes up by 10. But the Cardinals will cut into that lead, though. Kylan Connors finds Martavius Frost for the 2-hand jam. But it'd be East Marion with the dub, 80-66. Also, Ripley defeats Moss Point, 42-55. We'll have those highlights coming up at 10. But that's it for sports. Last look at your weather is next.
WCBI First Alert Weather School is brought to you by Emerson Animal Hospital in West Point.
Joey and Keith both have moves just like that. Two of the top Elvis tribute artists in the world, including the reigning champion, stopped in Tupelo after wrapping up a weekend of concerts and events at Graceland. Ben Thompson, winner of the 2018 Ultimate Elvis Tribute Artist Contest, and Cody Dayanoth, I believe it is, appeared at the Silver Moon Club. Fans were treated to performances from each artist and an encore, including both artists on the same stage. Those ladies were enjoying it. Both men say it's always an honor to play in Elvis's hometown.
It just always sticks with you, and any tribute artist in this era of tribute artists will say the same thing. They want to get to Tupelo. And the reason it sticks out so much is because, firstly, Elvis, secondly, the people, and thirdly, the sense of community that people bring. And, you know, you don't get that anywhere else in the world.
Both men will be in Tupelo this June for the annual Elvis Festival, bringing those same moves with them.
Hopefully by then the temperature will be a little bit warmer.
That would be
where we are
helpful.
now.
That would be.
More sun starting tomorrow.
It's cold out there, y'all.
It really is. Bundle up. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.